Hi, I'm Ioana. Thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to make tiramisu. It's one of my favorite Italian recipes. It is super simple to make. We're going to make it a little bit different. It's going to be nice and fluffy. Let me take you through the ingredients so we can get started. You're going to need some mascarpone cheese or mascarpone cheese, however you want to call it. You're going to need some sugar. You're going to need some egg yolks and some egg whites. You're also going to need some, ideally, coffee liqueur. Now, I didn't have that on hand, so I'm using bourbon, but you can also use some vanilla extract if you don't want to add any alcohol. You're going to need some lady fingers. The ones that I have are a little bit thinner and smaller than the usual ones that are a little bit larger. And I also have some coffee that I made and I left it to cool down. We're going to start off with the egg whites. And we're also going to add about half of this quantity to it. If you want, you can whisk it first and then add the sugar, but I don't really mind. And now we're going to whisk it until it forms stiff peaks. My egg whites are done. This is exactly what it should look like. So there shouldn't be anything falling off and it should be nice and firm. Another test as well that you can do is when you flip it upside down, there shouldn't be anything coming out. So it should all be nice and set. I'm going to set my egg whites aside and now we're going to start with the egg yolks and the remaining sugar. So now we're going to add in the egg yolks and the remaining sugar. And we're going to start whisking this. So now we're going to add in the mascarpone cheese. And I'm going to start incorporating this. I forgot to mention as well that it's really important to scrape off the sides when you beat in the egg whites and also the egg yolks. And now that everything is incorporated, I'm going to add in my bourbon. Like I said, ideally you should be using a coffee liqueur or maybe even vanilla extract. But I don't have that, so I'm just going to use this. Now we're going to have to incorporate the egg whites with the egg yolks. And that's what's going to make it really, really fluffy. So I'm going to get about a third of the mixture. And I'm gently going to fold it in, going from the bottom up. I'm going to add in a little bit more. Make sure that you don't mix it in too harshly because you want to have it fluffy. And now I'm going to fold in the remainder. My mixture looks absolutely perfect. It's all nice and fluffy and light. So now we're going to assemble everything. I'm going to get one of my lady fingers and just dip it in coffee for just a couple of seconds. You don't need any more than that because if you dip it in for any longer, it's going to be all soggy and you don't want that. And the reason why we're going to leave this overnight to chill, or at least for about 4 or 5 hours, is simply because that's the process that's going to make these lady fingers really flavorful as well, because it's going to have time to soak up all the coffee and taste wonderful. If you want, you can use a smaller dish. Now I'm using this one because I'm just going to make it in a single layer. But if you wanted to have it in a double layer, then you can definitely use a smaller dish. Almost there, just a couple more. Make sure as well that you do put some sugar in your coffee. And if you are left as well with a few lady fingers, you can use this for your coffee. We're adding our mixture on top very gently. And we're going to spread it evenly across the top. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now the final touch, we are going to put some cocoa powder on top, which I forgot to mention in the beginning. And we're also going to be quite generous with this. We're going to add quite a bit because it's an actual ingredient. It's not just for the purpose of decoration. I'm gently gonna wipe any edges. You can use a tissue for this as well if you want to. And this is what it looks like. We're gonna refrigerate this ideally overnight, but it has to be in for at least 4 or 5 hours. So I'll meet you back in the morning. Would you like to taste my tiramisu as well? It looks magnificent. Let's see how it tastes. It's super creamy. Remember that we've added a little bit of bourbon yesterday instead of the coffee liqueur, but it's not overpowering at all. In fact, it gives it a really, really nice, subtle taste to it. Brilliant in this recipe. So decadent. I really hope you give this recipe a try. If you do, let me know down in the comment section below what you think of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!